Hey dudes, I'm back here with another video, and yeah, okay, this is something that I do want to talk about. I really do, because I feel like there's a lot of shit I need to vent out about this issue, because this is something that's been pissing me off for a while. Now, in case you guys don't know, I'm mainly a console person. I mainly stick to consoles. Not that I have anything against PC in the slightest. I think PC has a lot of really good options and a lot of good games on it. Not even just PC exclusive games, but stuff like emulators. You might not be able to get like a PS2 or a GameCube on hand. You can emulate it and play shit. I think that's really cool. My big problem with PC is I'm usually the most unlucky guy in the world with computers. If a game doesn't want to work, it really doesn't want to work, and I find out I have to buy this like $300 part for the computer to make it work. I just don't have the time or money to invest in PC. That's just not where I want to go. I'm fine with the consoles, even if I don't get as much as what other people are doing. I'm happy with where I am. Well, one thing that really does piss me off in regards to PC and kind of the community PC bolsters is just this like weird double think they have, where they want to say they have the best options, but then they also bitch and moan about those options and not think twice about them. Because the biggest store on PC is Steam, obviously. Now there are competitors. Epic Game Store is trying to boost itself up, but after that shit with Metro and after some of the rumors popping up about that, I don't think Epic Game Store is gonna really build that quickly compared to how Steam blew up with Valve. Steam is still kind of the number one, and for a lot of good reasons. There are a lot of good things about Steam. It did take a long time for there to be an actual refund policy that can actually work for it, but you know, it's alright. And even though I am basically a casual PC gamer, I use Steam. I mean, I kind of like GOG more just because I don't like DRM, and GOG to me just has less selection but more games that I actually want. Now, moving on to the actual main point of this, my big problem with Steam users is they tend to bash the store and demand change without really realizing why those changes are even being pushed. And what do I mean by that? Well, Steam got in trouble really recently in regards to a game by the name of Rape Day. Yeah, I know, it's a really cheap, trashy title, but that's because it's basically just a cheap, trashy game. I mean, I can't even find any word to really justify it. It's another game hoping to use edgy humor and shock value to market itself. Basically the exact same situation as Hatred, where you had a game that was very obviously cheap, thrown together in a weekend. Well, Hatred actually had a lot more going for it than just cheap thrown together in a weekend, but the point is, it was a game that obviously could not hold itself up on any kind of actual fun or any actual innovation or way to entertain people. So they threw in brutal violence and or extreme sex in regards to Rape Day to get it at least somehow spread by word of mouth. Because a lot of people have been bitching about Rape Day, and honestly, I'm kind of fucking sick of hearing about it, because this is something where if you follow my Twitter, I don't expect you guys to. I don't really care enough. If you do, that's awesome, but, you know, free country, you do what you want. But I actually ended up kind of going on a rant about this, basically saying that if you fell into the trap of Rape Day and demanded to get taken off Steam, you're actually doing exactly what the devs want. Because games like this, games like Rape Day or Hatred, they run off of the Streisand effect. They want to be yelled at. They want to be screamed at. They want to be taken off the store. Because then they can come out and go, oh, look how horrible we are for being censored. Oh, this is so terrible. Please buy our game. And then they link it to like their fucking website or something. I mean, all you're doing is basically acting as the marketing. Where whenever a game like this is made, it's essentially using almost the philosophy that the Postal games had. Except, you know, Postal 2 is actually fun. In that they want to be seen as the guy saying fuck you to everyone, and they want everyone to come against them. So when you scream at a game like Rape Day, you're not doing anything exactly what the devs want. That's kind of a butchered ass sentence, but essentially it's just they want to be censored. They want you to freak out. Because a lot of time trolls make games like this. I mean, for fuck's sake, the main guy in Hatred was literally named the antagonist. His dialogue was written by a dude in a black metal band it's very, very clear what their standpoints are. And with something like Rape Day, I mean, it literally looks like a cheap fucking 3D model asset flip that some dude made in a cheap ass engine and is purely using rape and extreme violence to get people to look at it and get people to be stupid enough to buy it just to check it out of curiosity. Because really, what else is there to the game? It, for all intents and purposes, it just looks like, you know, a generic ass zombie shooter that you'd find on a cell phone. Because that's all these games usually end up being, just generic ass video games. Generic ass video games. But retards like Jim Sterling, you know, because he's been a big proponent of Steam needs quality control, which I'm gonna rant about that in a while, because fuck Jim Sterling, that fat cuck. I mean, that dude is a genuine piece of shit. If you actually still listen to Jim Sterling, I'll give you a better YouTuber that basically says everything he says, but is not a piece of shit cunt. Young, yeah. He says the exact same shit. Microtransactions are bad. We need consumer advocates. But then he doesn't double back on that by saying, oh no, this titty game from Japan totally should be censored. Yeah, no, fuck Jim Sterling. Fuck that piece of shit. And really, the whole Steam quality control shit is a fake-ass argument. It's a fake argument, because really, all they want are games they don't like censored. Like I said, Jim Sterling was all for the Dead or Alive Extreme 3, the volleyball game, to be banned from the West. He was all in on that. And all these people ever want is more censorship. They don't care about actually cleaning up the quality on Steam. And really, if you believe that, it's a fucking Trojan horse, okay? I get it, Steam allows cheap-ass games you can make in a weekend on their store. Early access is fucking broken. Here's my thing. Steam only allows them on. You need to yell at the actual developers. You need to maybe take more than 2 seconds to realize, hey, maybe this game that's nowhere near finished yet, that's promising a whole bunch of shit, won't realistically make that goal. Maybe I shouldn't buy into this and perpetuate the cycle. I mean, because really, how hard is it to just not trust a developer? I notice this shit a lot. I mean, for fuck's sake, how hard is it to just realize how sketchy a developer can be? And this can go on many different directions. I mean, you can have your EA where they constantly buy up studios, run them into the ground, and then murder the studios. Or a first-time indie dev promising something like a space simulator where you can travel to billions of individual stars and all this whole other shit, i.e. No Man's Sky. I mean, is hype really that easy to get sucked into? Is it really that hard just to remain skeptical? And before anyone says, oh, you know, you just need to enjoy things, you can't just look at every video game from a cynical perspective, the same people that constantly get wrapped up in hype cycles are the ones bitching for quality control on Steam. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't constantly fall for the trap and then whine about the trap. Just take 2 seconds to look at the screenshots, look at the user reviews. Maybe read about whether or not the developer just fucking abandoned the game and ran off with all the money, or maybe it's a cheap-ass game that has fucking malware on it. Now, obviously, if a game does have malware, Steam needs to take care of that. That's legitimately not cool, because people are paying for a product that could harm their computer. That's actually really fucked up, but to my knowledge, there are really, really, really only rare cases of that happening. And honestly, Steam has a whole bunch of other problems as is, where you had the weird ban on visual novels for a while, like, visual novels like Grisai no Kajitsu or stuff like that, where, yeah, it's an eroji game, but there's nothing about it that would really be taken off, because it does have a warning saying, hey, you know, this contains sexual content or things of this nature or that nature. I mean, it's been warned beforehand, so the push to censor it was just strange. Everyone called it the waifu holocaust. And I know a lot of people are saying social justice. I'm kind of leaning towards a different direction, thanks to another controversy that happened where there was a Taiwanese horror game that got taken off Steam not too long ago. I think it's actually maybe a week or so before, since this issue happened. But this was like a Taiwanese horror game that apparently was pretty good. People that were playing it were saying that it's actually very atmospheric, very much in line with games like Silent Hill and things of that nature. But in one of the Easter egg rooms, to my knowledge, this is what happened. It was just an Easter egg in the game. there was a poster mocking the current Chinese president. And the Chinese community on Steam got so angry that Steam had to pull the game out from the Asian markets. So if you live in Asia, the region in Asia like Japan, Taiwan, Indonesia, anywhere like that, you wouldn't be able to buy the game off Steam because the Chinese audience got so pissed. And that's why I'm thinking that maybe this is less to do with social justice and more to do that Steam wants to appeal to the Chinese market because, modern China does have some serious issues with how their culture is shaping up, where they have a social credit system, popping up where you can be rated as a person on like various sites and you can look up your score as a person. So I think that has a lot to do with why current movies and current games try to like kiss the progressive ass because they want to suck up to the Chinese audience, which, that's a really fucking bad idea, but no point in whining about that. You can never save a rich person that thinks they're smarter than you from a hell of their own making. They always fuck up. But my big problem with this Rape Day controversy is because, as I said, this is just a hollow-ass game built for the sake of just shocking people, taking some money, and running off into the sunset. If you just ignore it, if you just, not bought the game, no one would have cared. This game would have faded into obscurity. It's the fact that retards constantly have to hold it up and say, oh, look at this terrible thing, that games like this make any money or get any kind of recognition. I mean, who honestly even knew this game existed before yesterday? No one gave a fuck. It's the fact that you have retards looking for clickbaity YouTube videos such as, oh, Steam allows rape on their platform. Which, I mean, how many other games actually do include rape as a, serious subject matter for their stories? I mean, obviously you can say apples and oranges due to the fact that there are certain games that only imply rape or only have situations where the character fights out a rape, while this one straight up has full-on, sexual content in it. But the big point is the fact that you can't just start judging games based on what content they have on whether or not they can be sold on certain platforms, because if you banned any mention of rape at all from a game, say goodbye to Witcher 3, say goodbye to Witcher 2. I mean, you wouldn't have these games that actually know how to use it properly. You can't demand an entire subject be removed because it was used in a very tasteless manner, because there are plenty of other games that have very tasteful representations in it. It drives me nuts about the whole quality control argument in the first place. I mean, really, Steam needs quality control instead of a customer just not being dumb enough to buy a game that has overwhelmingly negative reviews, or took the time to at least read what the reviews were actually saying and seeing whether or not they were trolly jokes, or whether or not the screenshots may look like anything other than a cheap plastic asset flip that is very, very clearly made with like $5. I mean, maybe it's just me, but is it really that hard to notice when the difference between a very, very cheap game and a actually good, well-made game? I mean, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm just biased because I can tell the difference between a AAA game and a game some buttfuck loser in the middle of fucking California made for $2 and wanted to fuck with people, so he just threw together some trolling piece of shit. And I understand that Steam does have problems in regards to how a lot of times early access games are just shoved out the door by devs and get abandoned after 2 months, but at that point, I just have to blame the devs. I mean, I can't blame Steam for that, and demanding they police this shit when it's almost impossible. I mean, how the hell can they prevent devs from leaving games? How the hell can they make sure that every single game that gets uploaded is meeting some kind of fucking standard of Steam? I mean, they can't really set that standard. But no, I think the biggest problem of all of this is the fact that, I mean, like I said, there's no reason to buy games like these. There's no reason to give them attention. There are plenty of excellent games out there. I mean, Resident Evil 2 Remake just came out. Metro Exodus, a game that was really fucking good. I really enjoyed Metro Exodus. Another certain game, by the time this video came out, is ready and available to play. One that's goddamn incredible so far and one that I've literally stayed up until 3 o'clock in the morning playing until I realized I had to record audio for a video. And I'll give you a hint on what it is. Yeah, that game, that really fucking good one. And honestly, there are much bigger problems in gaming than Rape Day existing. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Rape Day is taking all the headlines and not fucking Anthem? The game that can literally crash and damn near kill your PS4? Yes, Anthem. The game that is literally so poorly put together, your PS4 will crash to the point that you have to rebuild the database. A thing that a lot of people, including developers that worked on video games, were not convinced was an actual solution. They thought it just bricked your fucking console. So, yeah, let's focus on Rape Day, the fucking cheap-ass attention whore game, and not the broken-ass AAA game. And in fact, why are people not more frustrated at the fact that AAA games have been more and more unstable as time has gone on? Fallout 76 was the buggiest piece of shit game in AAA history before fucking Anthem existed, and Anthem only took the title because it killed your console. I mean, really. Instead of people asking, hey, why aren't games trying new things? Why aren't all games like Capcom games lately? Why are so many of them sleazy, money whoring, buggy, broken ass damage, property damaging, pieces of shit? Why is everything like that now? Why is it so special when we get a game that's actually fun and memorable? No, everyone wants to bitch about the game that no one's gonna care about in 2 weeks. And this is just shit that I fucking hate. I fucking hate that shit. I fucking hate that constantly people get wrapped around in these idiotic cycles where they look at something that's clearly an issue and they focus on it for maybe a day. Then they get distracted by something completely fucking irrelevant. I mean, it's fucking stupid. I fucking hate the state of the industry at this point. I fucking hate how people constantly get wrapped up with this shit. And I really have to emphasize, if you are genuinely offended by Rape Day, if you are genuinely upset about Rape Day, if you are genuinely freaked out by the subject matter, maybe a traumatic experience by it or something like that, the only advice I can give is stop talking about it, stop thinking about it, stop pushing it into the limelight. This idiotic idea of the greatest cleanser is sunlight is stupid when the entire point is it wants sunlight. That's like saying you can kill a plant by giving it sunlight. No, if you give something that wants attention, it will beg for more. It will scream louder, more people will look at it. If you want shit like Rape Day to not exist, ignore it. Stop getting pissed off at it. Stop getting freaked out by it. That's the only advice I can give. And that's all I'm saying. It's just a quick rant thing. I'm fucking sick of seeing shit like fucking Rape Day get attention when there are really good games we can focus on, or games that have issues that genuinely need to be talked about. Okay? I mean, fuck's sake. Anyone notice that Rape Day all of a sudden pops out when people realize that Anthem is this fucking broken ass, barely functioning piece of shit that demands money from you with microtransactions that can actually kill your console? I mean, Jesus Christ, I can't wait for Division 2, where the game is so fucking broken and buggy it steals your credit card and Ubisoft mysteriously adds a bunch of microtransactions on your account when you never asked for them. Yeah, it's getting worse and worse. People keep allowing these AAA studios to get away with this shit. Because even though EA is this despised, horribly untrusted company, they still make money. Because dumbasses buy FIFA, they buy Battlefront. It's like, the only way to kill something like EA is to starve it. Stop giving it money. And I understand that there are casuals that don't care. Like, they genuinely do not care, and they'll just spend money on everything. And here's the thing. You gotta find a way to not add yourself to them. Stop buying into shit just because you're curious. Just let it die. That's the big theme of this video. If you don't like something, let it die. Don't feed it. And I'm actually going to talk about this in another video that's going to come up more than likely either this weekend or at the end of this weekend, where Captain Marvel just came out, and I'm noticing that even though every review so far has been, it's forgettable, it's really not memorable, at best case scenario you'll be mildly annoyed at it, people are still buying tickets, and I gotta talk about that, because it's like, just let it fucking die. You don't have to see it for yourself to criticize it. That's something I'm so fucking sick of hearing, where, oh, you can't talk about it if you haven't bought it. No. No. That's the excuse that a lot of people that were trying to defend The Last Jedi were saying, oh, you can't criticize if you haven't seen the movie. Yeah, you can, if you hear about spoilers. You know, I mean, that's kind of the big thing, if you hear about spoilers. If you watch videos about movie analysis of it, you know, you can criticize shit that you're not involved with. There's no reason you have to absolutely, you know, pay into the cycle. You know, that's almost as if that's an excuse that corporate shills say so that you still pay for it just so you have the right to complain. Yeah, but I'm saving all that for the Captain Marvel shit now. At this point, I'm gonna quit rambling. It's like fucking 3 in the morning here. I gotta throw something together for this video. And yeah, guys, have a good one. Just stop fucking complaining about Rape Day.